All right, y'all, we're going to give
wait. Cherry, while you start giving them 30 seconds, I just remembered I have a little something circular that I might want to have for this.
I think you need to go grab that. Can
Let
you
me
please?
go grab that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
go grab that. Go ahead and grab that. You know what I'm saying? Yes. I was going to bring that up anyway, but go grab it. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I want to welcome everybody to another Thursday edition. This is our fourth week for virtual Thursday interview sessions. We've had famous spoken word poets come through. We've had famous soccer players come through, and we have even another wonderful, phenomenal soccer player coming through today. I touched on this a little bit like 30 seconds ago, but before we get started, I'm asking everyone in the chat to please abide by the chat rules. The chat room, we have two main rules. Number one, we want to keep the chat positive. No negative energy, so no one in there saying anything mean to anyone, anything bad, anything negative at all. Please don't do that. We do not want to kick anyone out the chat. We want to keep everyone in here for this amazing experience. And also, rule number two, no spamming. Do not spam. If you don't know what spamming is, if you scroll up and look at what Isaac and Virginia did earlier, just pressing a bunch of different letters at one time or just typing the same thing over and over again, that is what we consider spamming. And the bad thing about spamming is that everyone suffers because then the whole chat gets shut down. We want y'all to have this. We want to keep the chat open. We want y'all to interact and be able to talk to folks during this. But if you keep spamming, you're going to ruin it for everyone. So no spamming. Say no to spamming. No.
Say yes to grow up.
Yeah, say yes to grow up. Let's be
grow up.
Let's be good teammates and be grown teammates today. No spamming. Thank you. I see people in there holding it down. Hold your teammates accountable. Catch them before we do. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Aaron, for that example. If you do not know what spamming is, check out Aaron. Aaron gave you a great example. All right. So with that being said, let's get right into it. We have the one, the only, the phenomenal, also my homie. This is like one of my dear friends, y'all. I love this person to death, and I mean that. Staci Wilson, make some noise. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's going down. So listen, Staci Wilson.
Overwhelming.
Yes, you should get ready, Staci. So before we get into it, for people who don't know, you should know, but this is for people who don't know. Let's tell you a little bit about Staci Wilson. Staci Wilson is a former professional soccer player. She has played an incredible soccer resume throughout her entire life. This includes being named All-American throughout her high school and college career, playing for the U.S. Youth national teams, winning 3 national championships with the North Carolina Tar Heels, winning national championships for the Carolina Courage, and also won her first ever Olympic gold medal. Olympic gold medal for the women's football U.S. national team. Whew. She also grew up very close here in Arlington, Virginia. Y'all don't know, that's like a hop and a skip from DC. That's amazing. Like, y'all go ahead and clap it up, make some noise.
Actually, I got my crib's Herndon. I got,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right, hold on.
Herndon.
Let's give it. Let's make it. Herndon, y'all. Which also is still in close proximity. It's not. It's a hop and skip.
It's Fairfax County, yo. So Fairfax County.
Exactly. So they're from around here. So
yeah,
the greatness is in the air. It's in the environment.
Yeah. Once I went off to college, everybody, I had to tell them I was from DC. That was okay, DC. Tell them I'm from Herndon, Virginia. They're like, where? Just DC.
You said DC.
30 miles west of DC. Yep.
You didn't say DMV. You said DC.
No,
specific.
DC.
Okay.
Back
gotcha,
then, yeah.
Gotcha.
You ain't say DMV back then. No, I said DC.
That's what's up. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into the interview. Staci, how this works, normally, depending on time, we ask a few questions, open up the floor for the kids to ask a few questions later on. Yeah. And then at the end, we might have some poets in the building that might want to share a poem for you. So that is how we mostly end our day. So all y'all that came to our Tuesday session that have some poems from there, let us know, let DC Scores know so we can have you signed up at the end. All right, so first question. So how did you first start playing soccer? What inspired you to even begin kicking a ball around, and what made you stick to it?
That's a great question. Because I guess to say inspired to play soccer, I was never really inspired to play soccer. I was just inspired to be, to move. I was a tomboy, as what they said back in the day, meaning I was just always active. So I really just enjoyed competing. And soccer, I actually got a soccer ball. I grew up in East Orange, New Jersey, my first 8 years of my life. When I was about 6 years old, I got a soccer ball for my birthday. I didn't know what it was. I didn't bounce like basketball. So I threw it in the closet. And then my family moved to Virginia when I was 8, and that's what the sport around there was. And so it was like, that's what they were doing at recess. So I played it, enjoyed it, and there were sign-up teams. So back then I went home. I think a lot of parents these days, put the kids into an activity, but it wasn't like that. It was like, oh, Mom, please sign me up for a team. So yeah, and that's it. All started from there. Just wanting to play the local sport.
That's what's up. So when you were playing and you got into it and started being surrounded by folks playing it, and maybe even watching people play it, who are some players or maybe some coaches or mentors that that really influenced you and influenced your game as you were growing up?
Well, I was fortunate to have a pretty good coach, like just my regular old club coach. He was a professional, and at the time, most people had dad coaches. So he came in and he had a lot of personality because he taught the 4th grade. So that was good. You want a coach that has some personality. But I will say, how you say who inspired you or what inspired me with soccer, I'd say he inspired me because, like I said, he would always tell us good life lessons. Like, he was the first person to be like, eat good stuff. You really should practice just 15 or 20 minutes on your own, and he's telling this to 10 and 11-year-olds. And but he said it in a way that just made you want to do it and go for it and try to be the best you could be. So, and then within like a year or 2 years, we went from being the team that was like losing every game or to winning state cup. Like, we won state cup like 5 or 6 years in a row. It got to be so easy. We started playing the year above us and winning them too. So yeah, so it was like a real good inspiration,
That's interesting to hear. Like, I've interviewed 2 other soccer players before you, and each of them had both of their answers were other different players that they grew up watching. So you're the first one to actually answer that a coach was someone that really influenced you and actually made you not better on the soccer field, because clearly y'all started winning games, but also taught you life lessons. And we do have a few coaches in here. So I think that's really powerful, because I understand and I see every day how much coaches influence our kids. And so I appreciate you sharing that with us.
So I got my inspiration from other places. So I don't know the way you all do poetry and things like that. Like, I got my inspiration from places other than soccer. So that's why I kind of respect you doing the poetry and then tapping into that and taking it to the field,
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, you got a little respect for the poetry side of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I should have been an artist.
Yeah. You still got time.
Bob Marley, one of the best artists in the world. He wanted to be a football player.
Hands down.
He said, I want to play football, but God wanted me to be a musician.
I remember we watched the Bob Marley documentary, yo. Hey, y'all don't know who Bob Marley is, when you have time today, go Google this guy. One of the best artists that I've ever witnessed with my eyes. I think if I could see a concert for someone who has passed in this world, Bob Marley's like my top 3. So yeah, he's a dope player. Also was a pretty good soccer player. They say that's what how he got sick, how he got hurt was from playing soccer. So interesting how those two things have always been able to come together, arts and soccer. So I want to talk to you a little bit about diversity in women's soccer. So I don't know, when you were growing up, and
sorry, I wore this. I'm taking my jacket off. This is the Olympic jacket from 20 years ago. This jacket is older most of them kids.
Ooh, y'all see that Olympic jacket, y'all? That is legendary right there. But yeah, I appreciate that. I like that other shirt you got up under it though too.
Oh, of course,
that one's dope too.
Of course.
So I know for me growing up, and I like to tell the kids I had my little spurt of playing soccer. I played all my life and also played through college. And I remember the first Black soccer player that I saw playing was Brianna Scurry. And I remember seeing her for the first time and how much that influenced me to see someone that looked like me that is doing something that I like, that at a time where I lived and when I was playing the sport, there was no one that looked like me around me. How important, so I guess the first question I'll say is, with you being and having one of the few Black U.S. women's on the national team, being a member on the team, how important is it for you? So let's start with this question. How important was it for you to see other people that looked like you growing up in the sport? And then I'll follow that up with another question. So let's start with that one.
I'd say part of the reason why I found my inspiration from other places is because there just weren't any Black soccer players that I knew of. So, I look to other greats in sports as my role models. So someone like, there was a track runner, Florence Griffith Joyner, FloJo.
Yes.
And so she was just grace, art. She symbolized for me just Black strength as well as just excellence. She was dynamite. So that's more like athletes like that is where, I pulled my inspiration from. I'd say there weren't as many Black athletes in general back then. So I more had looked at sports. Sports had more meaning for me, bigger than just me. It was a little bit more kind of proving what we can do. I didn't really look at my race as being viewed equally. We were thought to be not as capable. That's how I felt when I was in school, and history of only slavery. And so for me was, I know people like Jess, his story was very powerful. And so the way that Blacks in history have used sports to show that we are capable. I'd say the first time that I probably became also a little bit more interested in soccer was when my godmother, around the age of, 9 or 10 for my birthday, gave me a book, and it had Pele. It was a big picture. So I was like, oh wow, this guy who's really famous he's plays soccer and he's Black. Oh, and I suddenly became a fan and was trying to bicycle kick in my living room, which I learned to not do because I kind of hurt my back.
Yikes!
So, yeah, I was like, woo. But yeah, it was I didn't really have role models, and that's why I'm glad. I can't imagine what it's like for one, females right now, because I didn't have a female coach. I didn't have a female coach till I was a pro.
Wow.
And then to have a Black coach, or the closest thing I had to that was there's a guy, and he's actually still in the Virginia area, named Sean Lanigan. He was my coach on that youth team. And the soccer world's so small that his sister was roommates with someone named Kim Crabb. I'm sure you've heard of her, being the first Black person on the national team. And one day he gave me a shirt. He said, "Staci, I want you to have this. This is a player named Kim Crabb." This was when I was in high school, and it looked like I might make the national team. And he's like, I want you to know there was somebody before you, just kind of like passing on the energy, the good vibes,
Wow.
and that was, yeah, it was, but I can't imagine what it would have been like, how different my experience would have been, had I had more coaches, and role models. Now, what I can say is that on my team, there were, out of the 18 players, 3 of us that were Black, and we did hang out with each other more. They were always like, we were known to be hanging out, so maybe that was a place where because you have to have some sense of culture, some sense of who you are, some sense of home, and so I think that having friends on the team, one of them had a Jamaican parents, so we were always joking and hanging out with them. The other one had a Brazilian mom and a dad who was from New Orleans. So we had a little, and my parents, Trenton, New Jersey, and Shelby, North Carolina. So there was a little bit of, just different African American culture, diaspora.
Nice.
That helped keep me sane.
That's awesome. That's so dope. Like, thinking about, and I can imagine that there's probably other people that were in your shoes, and from like just an athlete's perspective of what does that look like for a person that doesn't have that doesn't have someone that looks like them, and where do they pull their inspiration from? Because essentially you are the beginning of what others are then going to look up to and be like, yes, I saw Staci Wilson. Now I see this, and this is like upfront inspiration from the jump, versus being that first person to fill that shoe. How people are like pulling different inspiration from different spaces, I think is just really a powerful thing. That just to be good at something doesn't mean what your role model or what you would think would be inspiring to folks is something that is exactly a replica of that. So a soccer player doesn't have to be what inspires you to be a good soccer player. It could be another person that's just a great runner, or just another athlete that's doing something great. So you never know who's watching, I guess, is a good thing is a way to look at it. We're even like earlier in one of our poetry sessions was talking to the kids about different I can't remember which topic it was. Maybe it was history of where we were, where we are, as far as like our movement and the civil rights movement, talking about civil rights movement in the 1960s. Now here we are with the civil rights movement now, with Black Lives Matter, and where we're trying to go. And just kind of comparing the past and the future, and where we want to be. What do we want our future to look like? And just kind of like listening to Martin Luther King speak, and just seeing how much I feel like my spoken word has been pulled from just speeches, just powerful speakers. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of my inspiration has never always just been from a spoken, like a person that's doing poetry. So it's just, I guess my point to the kids is that anybody can be inspiration to you, as long as it's like a positive energy and somebody that's doing something that is pushing forward. And and especially if they look like you, I think that even adds something to it. So let's keep it moving. All right, cool. So being a sports for peace diplomat and traveling the world and using soccer as a tool for peace, how has that experience been for you? What impact have you seen it on different communities that you're running into?
I mean, that's been really fulfilling. That's really what I'd say I'm most enjoy and kind of look at as the purpose of why I've played soccer is to really to be a role model and to do bigger things. I probably didn't understand that when I was 19, because I actually had people saying, quit playing soccer now. You got a gold medal. You're good. Like, we want you now to be an ambassador for the game. I was like, what do you mean? But now that I've gone around and seen the power, like I've gone first it started out just doing trips to Caribbean countries where they don't have opportunity, like they don't have the same college recruiting there. So if we go there and we scout kids, it really gives them an opportunity to get seen and to come get an education in America. So, that's obviously giving back through the sport, trying to do that. But I've actually gotten to go overseas, and through being a diplomat was where I got to go to Africa for the first time. So that was amazing. I went to Senegal. Yeah, I would highly recommend that to everyone. But when I went to Africa, then it became like, wow, you could really see the sport being used for bigger empowerment. Like a lot of times if we went over and we did a program for girls, it was the first time that people in that whole city saw girls play soccer or do something other than, traditional female things. So now we're changing the thoughts of what's possible of these people. So that was like, okay, like we actually can do, make a difference, like in not just in wins and losses. And then the last trip I went on, oh my gosh, that was the most powerful trip, because this was truly tackling an issue that I never thought you would be able to tackle through soccer, which was human trafficking. So we're going to go somewhere and we are going to teach about human trafficking and basically help to stop it by doing soccer clinics. And we went there, and sure enough, it was really effective, because soccer's a way of, people being empowered to be recognized, to gain confidence, to know that you can be in control. And that ended up having a lot to do with, with the themes that go into the education of human trafficking. So not only were we going and giving people like good health, but being a part of it is like, you being a part of your team is you being a part of a group that y'all can keep each other in check and teach each other. And so the sports diplomacy, giving back through the game, I love it. So it's,
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I think that what we are seeing now, so a couple things I pulled from that. The first one is that we think in America, like, we're fighting for equal pay for women. We're fighting for so many different things that are happening here that sometimes you don't think about the fact that there's other countries, there's other places where they don't even have women teams. Like,
right.
Period.
They're
they don't
just
even
fighting
have
for control of their bodies.
Right. Yes. So it's always like somewhat of a centering and humbling thing to kind of like reflect on. And I can only imagine how that feels for you going into those spaces and seeing it firsthand, to understand that, yeah, we're not where we want to be here in America, but we have gotten pretty far. And so it's definitely like something that kind of puts me in check, because I'm always like, we got to do better. We got to do, and I'm always going to push for more. But it definitely is eye-opening to always remember that there are other places around us that that I couldn't do what I'm doing right now. You wouldn't have been able to do what you're doing right now because of the rules and laws in just different places and just how things are. So
the last trip that I went on, it was interesting because we, before the clinic, we got everyone a jersey and cleats. So every participant received that. And one of the girls asked me to tie her shoe for her. And that was okay. I thought, whatever, maybe it's, sometimes goalies need you to tie their shoes. Then another comes over, tie my shoe. Another comes over. And then I thought, okay, like they want attention, kind of like, hey, interaction, they want interaction with the coach, a little attention. And then, I realized, we finally realized that they had never had a pair of shoes. They didn't know how to tie shoes just because they had never had a pair of cleats. This was their first tie-up sneakers ever. So it was like, wow, this is moving. So if I could spend all my time just doing charity work like that, I would. Yeah.
Wow, that is
Mhm.
powerful. That is, phew, that is not an eye opener right there. That's wild. I had another thing to say. Yeah, and I think also you in the world that we live in right now, I think a lot of
Mhm.
people are understanding their platform,
Mhm.
understanding the importance of that. Soccer, yes, it's there's people who play it to win games. There's people who play it to
Mhm.
get money, to for the fame. There's a lot of
You
different
should always
reasons,
play to win. Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. There's nothing, you ain't
So
trying
to
to play
speak.
to lose, but
Right, exactly.
but
Come on. Mhm.
but I guess that I think a lot of people have noticed, but are even continuing to notice even more how important, how much of a platform sports set for folks, and how important it
Mhm.
is to be very thoughtful and intentional about how you use your platform, and who you're trying to impact, and what the causes that you're fighting for. How important do you think it is, or maybe not important, do you think it is
Mhm.
for athletes, even yourself, to use their platform to speak on things that might bother them, or speak on things that they are passionate about in their lives?
Um, I think it's well, I think it's up to the athlete. I mean, you don't, I don't want to make someone have
Stacy,
to.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to cut
Yeah.
you off. Hey,
Oh no.
DC Scores, I think we got to put a little pause on the chat real quick. We got some people
Mm.
who are just, oh my goodness. I just happened to glance over. I thought y'all were good, but now I'm seeing
Oh really?
just
Mm.
I. It's not about you, Virginia. We're gonna pause for 2 minutes. We're gonna pause for 2 minutes and reflect on how good teammates are supposed to be. Y'all see what DC Score says? We are pausing for 2 minutes to reflect how to be good teammates. Then open
Okay.
it. Y'all messing it up for everybody. Come on, y'all. Just don't. Come on. Let's be good teammates. I'm sorry, Stacy. Let's hop back in.
No, it's all good. I wish
Yeah.
I had that energy. I mean, I look at it. They'll learn how to control it one day. It's good energy.
It is good. Let's
Good
set it. Let's
energy.
focus it.
You got to focus it. Mm-hmm. Kind
Coach,
of like the anger. Any anger I used to have, I just focus that on the soccer
bring it
field.
in. You gotta
Yep.
learn
Play a
how to
nice
put it.
game. Nice
Play a good
passionate game.
game. Nice,
Yep.
nice energetic game.
Energetic game. Yes. Mm-hmm.
But no, I was asking you about importance of platforms and
Mm.
using it. Yeah.
Well, I've thought about this a lot over the years because, I used to be an athlete. And even though those issues were really important to me, I didn't feel I was in a position where I could talk about it. Like, I felt like if I start to talk about this, I'm going to get cut from the team. And in terms of the US Team USA, yeah, that was a reality. Don't talk about anything that we do that might be perceived as racist, because if you do, you're cut.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't want to judge athletes today that don't want to talk about it, because they might know, they just might be in a bad position where they can't. Now, if they are in a position where they can, and they're just protecting, they're wanting to make more money, then no, I'm not down with that.
I hear that. Yeah.
I think that I find it interesting because I was a big, huge Michael Jordan fan. Back in the day, he was the best. He epitomized hard work, this, that. But it was interesting to me. I read a book called $40 Million Slaves, came out, a bunch, but it talks about Jordan and what he did. And I got to see it more from the eyes of an adult and not the little kid that was idolizing him. And he went through a lot of effort to make sure he was never perceived as Black. He wanted to be neutral, and I don't support that.
Right.
Like, nah, if I'm Black, I'm sorry, you got to see me for that. And to him, it was making more money. And like I said, I can understand not wanting to get fired or protected, but at some point, I feel like he had security enough to where he didn't have to be, not acting like that. And that's why I really like LeBron James, when all that stuff happened a bunch of years ago, and LeBron went and put on a hoodie, and I thought Jordan would have never done that, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking bad about Jordan right now, because I feel like,
it's
you know,
facts,
that's
so, yeah.
yeah, that's facts. That's what he
It's
did.
just
And I
facts.
feel like, you know, maybe he's repenting and trying to do things like that. But that's, yeah, he did not want to be seen as black. And Nike didn't want him to project himself as that, and they went through a lot to make him raceless, you know. So yeah, no, you got, you know, like Tiger Woods, you know, that's always an issue. I just feel like you know, don't forget where you come from. Don't forget the nature of our world. You know, you can't forget. We're gonna always, I don't know. It just,
Yeah.
If you forget, you're gonna be reminded in a very unpleasant way.
I was getting ready to say that. I was getting ready to, you took the words right out my mouth, is that as much as you want to forget or erase a certain part of you, that is, I mean, something that cannot be erased. It's you. It's part of your body, your makeup.
Yeah.
Other people aren't going to see anything different. So, you know, and making sure that you stay true to your roots, stay true to who you are, through everything that you're going through. And again, but also, like you said, I think what you brought up was a good point, not jeopardizing your livelihood though as well, and not jeopardizing your safety or anything that's going to put you in some type of harm. But at least if you're in a position to be authentic and be true to you and true to the causes that might impact you, that's I think a really powerful thing to say. I appreciate you sharing that, Staci. And I'm a huge LeBron fan myself, you know. It's my man's right there. He actually when he played at the this was like years ago. When he played at what's our team here? Washington Wizards. When he played the Wizards, and they're in the tunnel, I had a seat right next to the tunnel, and they just finished the game, and him and this is when he was with Cleveland, and he's walking through the tunnel, and I said, LeBron. Like I was so loud, like people around me were like, "Dang, girl, like you loud."
Like,
but but yo, he looked dead at me, yo. Took his towel off and threw it to me, and I caught it.
Really?
I have that towel in my house to this day. I haven't washed it. His sweat is still on it. I know that's dirty, but I have LeBron James's towel because that was like, yo, you got to go for those moments when you're in it. I don't care if I'm blind. I'm gonna get my towel. I wanted him to throw me his shoes, but whatever.
No, generally I'm calm and cool, but I would have done what you did too.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's LeBron James. Like, come on, let's be real. So, Staci, you are a certified strength and conditioning specialist and a USA weightlifting sports performance coach. Like, I see the muscles. Like, you're just like, you know, look. Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm trying to get that one day. All right. So what advice do you have to young athletes about taking care of themselves and their bodies and and how that is important for them to be their best selves on and off the field?
I mean, really, if you want to be a good soccer player, that's people, you have to take care of your body, period. It's amazing how many people want to be a good soccer player, but then they don't want to get fit, or they don't want to eat good things. So those type of things are pretty basic that you have to do. I found it interesting that was it Arsene Wenger, the coach, that famous coach of, I think it was Man U. But basically he changed the whole culture. He's an idolized coach. And the biggest change that he made when he took over the team was just getting them to eat better, time their meals, like something so minor. He just implemented all these things. So that's what it's something that's basic. Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
You don't have to eat perfect. You could say, you know, no fried foods, no sodas, no, or, you know, maybe limit yourself one piece of candy a day. Some basic things. If you look at my house outside, And this is it's important
Oh
to
my
me. So over the
goodness.
years, I've gotten weights. I got a stability ball there, Olympic plate. You see all the different weights that I could do whatever I need. Got
Oh,
pop.
oh,
Yeah, it's a big
oh.
300-pound one. I could do boxing and everything on it. Got my soccer balls right here. Some hurdles to jump over. Yeah, and then got my shed with, more stuff, more equipment, some bands, little things to help me strengthen my ankles, boxing gloves, a slide board, lighter bars. So basically, what I'm saying is, to me, health and fitness is important, and I never want to have an excuse. Yep. Oh, see down there, I got my hoops, little hoops for the kid, ladders. I got ladders. The idea is that I love work. I think health and fitness is important.
Mm-hmm.
And if I get, can you hear me?
We're back. We're back.
Okay. I was saying, I think that health and fitness is important. And so one of the strategies that I use to make sure that I always work out is I reduce a barrier to working out. So what I mean by that is, look, if I don't feel like running, well, I can lift something. If I don't feel like, well, maybe I don't feel like lifting heavy stuff. Well, I can at least do some bands or something. Right. So in a way, like me knowing, the more I know, then the more options I have. And there's always something I'm going to be able to do. Like my mood never gets in the way of me not working out. You follow me?
Yeah.
But a lot of people, they don't know how to work out. They only know how to, okay, I want to work out, so I got to go running. Well, what happens on the day that you don't feel like running? What are you going to do? So knowing more, the more you know, the more you can empower yourself. And then, yeah, also I'm a little bit strange in that I like having lots of workout toys.
That's awesome. Wow, that's a whole gym back there.
Oh yeah. I have step up, things for step ups, things for medicine balls, everything. So I can train people here. I train clients here too. But honestly, it's first and foremost for me, so to make sure I maintain good health.
That's awesome.
And I don't like to be that coach. Like, do you want to be coached by somebody who, I feel like my players respect me more when they see that I work out and stuff.
Yeah.
They know, okay, she knows what she's talking about. All right.
Okay, I guess I'll run this mile since they run about 5 each day. I guess.
Right, exactly. It can't be torture. She's not making me do something she wouldn't want to do. Right. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that's a little bit that's some inspiration for you. I hear that. That's awesome because our kids right now normally around this time they be in soccer camp, right? Soccer and arts camp outside, being able to play with their teammates, run around, go inside, do some arts and craft, maybe have a poetry teacher come through, maybe do some graffiti. Like they're super, super active and sociable. So I wanted to ask you that because I see that all of us are still in this social distancing world, but that's still just because we're at home, that doesn't mean that there's not something that can be done. There's not something that you can do to stay active because eventually we're going to be back out on that soccer field. And so what's your best advice for people to stay motivated, for kids to stay motivated to continue to work on their soccer skills, to continue to write and do poetry? What I guess motivates you, or what advice would you give to them?
Well, I guess I would say the fact that I have all of this equipment. This is me, an old lady. Back when I was an athlete, a poor athlete just trying to make it. I didn't have this equipment, and I still had to. Interesting thing is, women's soccer back then, we didn't have seasons, pro teams, and everything. So what a lot of people are experiencing as their crises, that was our normal training environment. You follow me? We had to go home and train on our own all the time. Like at least 2 to 4 months out of the year, you were training on your own. It wasn't like, and it was just because you didn't have the option of team. So, right. And what we found actually with the United States, USA women, our beloved team right now, this part of their personality is they go in the game sharp. They are fit. They are on it. That's not, and because they're fit, they're confident. Well, that definitely started, that's been a part of their personality since the 20 years since I was playing with them. We always, and we were known for it more than other teams during the off season, we would go off, we had our packet, and, again, if it's important to you, you're going to read through the packet and figure out and learn it and do it on your own. There are things, it was a national team, and we were able to find exercises that helped make us better. So what I would say is, like, the kids, with the way there's Google, and I'm going to send you all a packet, and you feel free to share it with your players, that I sent to my team, which is a whole bunch of body weight exercises that you can do at home. Like I said, I have this equipment now, but I didn't get strong with this equipment. I got strong doing some good old-fashioned wall sits, who can, having a contest with someone. It's not rocket science, but right. The kids just need to be told, give them a simple program. They have so many different, things they could look up on YouTube these days, and tricks and things like that are cool, but the basics are old-fashioned, and I'm going to send them to you to give to them. I'm going to send you some strength, and that's strength work, flexibility, and speed and agility. So nice. Yeah, it's really, right now, if you can find little things to get your technical skill, get something sharper, because you don't want robotic players, but if I'm learning a skill, I do want it to be robotic. I want to figure out how to do it perfectly, so that now I'm doing it without even thinking about it. Right. My body's making the turn. I'm receiving. Now when I go and I play in a game, I am a smarter player because I'm not wasting brain energy thinking about how to trap and turn this ball when it comes to me. That's just happening. I'm making decisions about what I'm seeing, and my body's doing it. Nice. So yes, we don't want your coach to have to spend at practice a ton of time. You want your coach to let you play some games so that you could practice your moves on an opponent. But so now the perfect complement is for everybody to, on their own, try to do a little bit to make yourself better. Nice. Little figure eights, corver moves. Yeah. But it was a real opportunity.
You're freezing
up. Freezing
Where you at? You're back.
I'm back. Okay.
You back. We back.
Okay. Phew.
You good.
But no, I was saying, like, right now is kind of an opportunity for the people who are no, I'm just a hard worker. I don't need all these bells and whistles and a pay-to-play club, because those people that depend on all of that, they're right now struggling, but if you just have some, if you can keep your hard work, your sacrifice, dedication, delayed gratification. That means I want to go have a little fun right now, but you know what? If I just wait and work a little bit right now, you know, it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off. The fun will be there a little bit later, you know. I can go to a party next weekend. You know what? This weekend, or let me work on this. So right now during COVID is a perfect time for all of these, you know, for you to show what you can do. I will say the hard part though is just if you need somebody to talk to, but they got you, Charity.
I mean, you know, that's what I'm here for. Need someone to talk to, kids? I'm here, right here for you.
Right?
But no, that's a great, I really appreciate that answer because we're trying to, we have our weekly sessions and we send at-home packets and we, you know, we don't know if the kids are doing them or not, but this is a good example of like, you know, when you're taking time off, someone else is actually at home doing these workouts. So when it is time to get back on the field, not practicing, not trying to stay in shape, not trying to actually utilize and use the tools that you're given during this time, during this downtime, will actually put you behind. There's, you know, if you're trying to become a better soccer player, or if you're even trying to become a better writer, it takes practice. And practice, you know, yes, we don't have, you might not have a soccer field. You might not have a whole lot of space to go out and run, but as long as you can find somewhere to just be in your own little space, there's always something that you can do to stay sharp and stay on top of things so that when you get back out on field, you can hit the ground running. Or when you get back out and start doing some more poetry, you can hit the ground running. And so it's important to continue to practice, to stay writing, to stay healthy and energized. And just for your own mental health, it's just going to help you, you know, be distracted and do things that are good for your body. So yeah, Staci, I think that's like, we're actually, we could talk all day. You know that. Like we could go all day. Matter of fact, I'll probably hit you up later on. But so do we have any kids? Get ready, Chris. Okay, we got 2 kids that want to share some poems for you. They've been writing, and so we're gonna bring them on. Staci and I have watched poems. Staci has been to some of my shows. Staci we send poems back and forth to each other that inspire us. So we do have someone who appreciates the art form a lot. So y'all come on and give Staci your best shot. And first up to the stage, I need y'all to give it up for the one and only Christopher. Yeah.
All right.
Can I say the poem American Symbol from on Tuesday?
Absolutely, go for it.
Yeah, I've never heard it.
Lady Liberty holds her torch up high. Over my head, the bald eagle can fly. 50 star and stripes 13. What do all these symbols mean? I see them all high above, and I stand for the country I love.
Awesome. Give it up for Christopher. Good job, Christopher. Thank you for coming through and sharing that word.
That was fantastic.
All right, peace. They're out. Okay, up next, I think we got a returner. Oh, this is an all-star from the Tuesday sessions. We're going to bring to the stage next the one and only Gabe. Give it up for Gabe, y'all. Go ahead, Gabe. Do your thing.
I tried to make one up, but...
Well, let's hear it. Go ahead. Make it up.
Police violence may be wrong, but we all have to stay strong. If we lose our hope, we may never have it again. But if we keep our hope, we will have it for another day, and it will sustain us.
Yes.
Very important Gabe. To keep hope. Very important. Yep.
Thank you, Gabe.
If you lose hope, it's over.
Gotta have hope. Gotta keep hope to keep going. All right. So I think that's it for our poet, Stacy. I think that's it. Is that right? DC scores. That's it. Yes, that's it. So go ahead, Stacy. Go ahead and close this out. What you got for us?
All right, well, a poem.
Oh,
I didn't plan on. I'm not. Gabe inspired me. I was like, okay. Maybe I wrote this. Maybe I didn't. But it just popped in my head from like, maybe I didn't. Okay, it's called The Crocodile and the Dentist. The crocodile went to the dentist and he sat down in the chair. And the dentist said, "Now tell me, sir, why does it hurt and where?" And the crocodile said, "I'll tell you the truth. I have a terrible ache in my tooth." And he opened his jaw so wide that the dentist climbed right inside. And the dentist laughed, "Oh, isn't this fun?" as he pulled out the teeth one by one. And the crocodile cried, "You're hurting me so. Please put down your pliers and let me go." But the dentist just laughed with a ho, ho, ho. And he said, "I still have 3 to go." Oops, that's the wrong one, I confess. But what's one crocodile's tooth, more or less? And suddenly the crocodile's jaws went snap. And the dentist disappeared right off the map. And where he went, one could only guess. He left no forwarding address, or north, south, east, west. He left no forwarding address. But what's one dentist, more or less? I used to love Shel Silverstein growing up. Shel Silverstein was the man. And I probably got another 1 or 2 buried in there that'll pop out.
Word.
So anyways, I just did that for y'all. I'm super shy and I don't perform, and y'all can laugh at me behind my back plenty. So y'all are allowed to.
The imagery that I like, just the movements, the picking out the teeth, I saw it. The snapping. He ate that dentist.
Shel Silverstein, right?
Oh my goodness. Someone put a crocodile emoji on there. Oh my goodness. I'm loving it. All right.
So, Atlanta. 1996. Who was born back then? Who was born back then? Nobody. So all of the medals have the same thing on the front, but it says the sport's name on the rim. So I don't know if you could see how it says women's football.
I see a little bit of it. Yeah. It's so shiny. I can't.
Yeah, it'll either say men's basketball or whatever right there, and then on the back it has the international symbol of that sport, and all of them had the Olympic torch. So yeah, and then they give it to you in a handy dandy carrying case.
That is so dope.
Yeah.
That thing's a little heavy. I remember when you brought it to one of our trainings before for United Soccer Foundation. You let folks wear it.
I'll send the photo. I got a picture of you wearing this back in the day.
Yeah, my neck was about to break with that joint. That's pretty awesome. If y'all don't know, that is an Olympic gold medal. Hard earned, hard fought for. Well deserved. That is.
But again, I want to tell everybody to, enjoy soccer, go for it. Like you said, we don't play to lose, play to win,
right.
Go as far as you can. But also remember, like, especially with the way everything's changing right now with COVID, your academics is really where it's at, and making sure like you use soccer to take you further in the path that you want to go.
Absolutely.
I've coached some kids. One kid I coached, she wanted to be a graphic designer, graphic artist. She was really artistic. In the school that does that is really, really picky. It's D2 Division II soccer though. So she probably would have been able to go to that college of her dreams, but because, she
took her
had
there.
soccer. Yeah. So
That's
soccer
awesome.
can open up doors for you.
It surely does.
And
That's
and
nice.
yeah, I know some people, you know, they played soccer and now, you know, they ended up on the team, but now they're and I love this. They didn't just become a soccer player. They became general manager of the team. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
somebody in the league. So it's you know, I hope the kids really use soccer to help them go further, even if it's just an outlet, even if it's just a healthy outlet, you know.
Absolutely. It can definitely win some games, and if you get that good, you can get some money off of it, but it definitely has a lot of different places that it can take you. And I think both Staci and I can say right now, we would not be where we are without the sport of soccer. So, you know, I just want to go ahead. All right, everyone's been doing it, but again, real quick, everyone say thank you to the one and only Staci Wilson for coming through here, doing an amazing interview, dropping some gems, and even spitting a poem for us. Like, and
that poem, that was
medal. Your
that
favorite rapper does
love.
not have this. Your favorite rapper does not have that. They have chains and stuff, but do they have an Olympic gold medal? I don't think so. That is rare, and that is hard earned, and that is something that any of y'all could do if you put your mind and heart to it. So thank you so much, Staci. Any last words for the kids?
I love y'all. Represent. Go do your thing. That's it. All love.
All love. Y'all heard it from the one and only Staci Wilson yourself. So thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for holding the chat down. I think we only had to shut it down one time today. That's a record. So good job, y'all. Good job.
Good job.
All right, y'all. Y'all don't have to go home, but you probably do because you are home, but you got to get up out this chat. It's been real, y'all. See y'all later. Peace. Bye-bye.
I'll talk to you later.